Support WrestleTalk!
Follow us on Twitter.
Now I know what you're thinking clicking this video. Surely WWE is the land of free speech, where wrestlers have creative freedom in their promos, and commentators aren't shackled to stupid buzzwords and corporate balderdash, and instead put forward genuine and interesting thoughts. I'm of course being facetious. Yes, WWE is more business than Lord Business himself, and as such there are certain things they don't want wrestlers saying and or doing. Documents have been leaked revealing the words and actions banned from WWE broadcasts, allowing room for commentators to say much more free-flowing phrases like the one night of the year where Raw and SmackDown go head-to-head in direct competition, which rolls off the tongue. And is also demonstrably false as mixed match challenge is still going on and sees Raw and SmackDown stars go head-to-head in direct competition all the bloody time. So what are the things banned in WWE? Well, let's take a look at this handy and easy to digest YouTube list, because algorithms. These are 13 things banned in WWE. Number 13, chair shots to the head. Now this one is fairly obvious, and unlike some of the items on this list, is actually a good thing. If you were a fan of wrestling back in the day, particularly in the late 90s and early 2000s, chair shots to the noggin were a staple part of the WWE broadcast, and the WCW broadcast, and the ECW broadcast. Basically, chair shots to the head were as common as kicks to the dick are in 2018. Basically, in a time when every form of entertainment was trying to push the boundaries, the climate was more accepting of these violent, unprotected chair shots to the noodle. But as anyone who has watched Rock vs. Mankind from Royal Rumble 1999, or Beyond the Mat's heartbreaking behind-the-scenes look at the match, or heard horror stories from the likes of Mick Foley and others, you will know that unprotected chair shots to the head are not cool and are incredibly dangerous. WWE were forced to ban them in 2010 after receiving a lot of backlash and lawsuits from former stars claiming the chair shots they received in the company led to multiple concussions and long-term head and brain injuries. These days, the boys and girls are limited to chair shots to the body, or, trapping Ronda Rousey's head in one and stamping on it. Number 12, pile drivers. For similar reasons to the chair shots, pile drivers have been banned in WWE since 2000, and despite the occasional outing in a high-profile match, CM Punk vs. John Cena in 2013 for example, the move is a no-go. And it's hardly surprising, is it? Being dropped directly onto the top of your head is well, painful. And similar to the chair shots have resulted in several concussions over the years, or in the case of Steve Austin, a broken neck that shortened his career. And it's not only WWE that has banned the move either, as several independent promotions do not allow the move in their rings, unless it's a Canadian destroyer to the apron, because that is totally fine. Of course, the biggest victim of this ban is the Piledriver music album series, if you only knew. Number 11, wrestlers. Despite the second W in WWE standing for wrestling, the company really doesn't like using the W word or referring to its stars as the W word. This isn't a recent change either. Since the late 80s and early 90s, when Vince McMahon was trying to separate his World Wrestling Federation from the world of professional wrestling into an entertainment show format, he introduced the term sports entertainment, which has become their doublespeak lexicon for wrestler. These aren't wrestlers anymore, they're sports entertainers, or superstars, and not called superstars, like the one Diamond Dallas Page does in DDPY. Every now and again, a sports entertainer will drop the dreaded W word into a promo, which is always guaranteed to catch the ear of the hardcore viewer who know it is somewhat of a taboo word. In fact, the Revival famously used the term earlier this year, and well, you can see that has done wonders for their careers in WWE. Number 10, Randy Orton's punt kick. Before he was allegedly shaking hands, and even when he was allegedly shaking hands, Randy Orton was known for punting people in the head as his finishing move. No one was safe from the old punt kick of complete doom, taking out WWE Hall of Famers, Vince McMahon, and Wrestle Sports Entertainments all over the show. But while these days he teases it, he never actually hits it, and that's for a good reason. Orton responded to a fan's capital letter garbled question on Twitter by saying that the punt kick was now banned in WWE, and like unprotected chair shots to the face, is due to WWE's concussion awareness program, presumably fearing that a botched punt kick could give someone more than just a major headache. Number 9, hospital. We all know the score here. A sports entertainment superstar gets injured on TV, but he or she is not sent to the hospital or a clinic, but instead the more family-friendly local medical facility. Which, you know, sounds way better and natural than hospital. Why say only 3 syllables when you can say 9? Surely that's 3 times better. Number 8, Brainbuster. If you want to see the Brainbuster in a wrestling show, I would suggest getting yourself a visa and going to Japan, because they give them away like seats to Monday Night Raw over there. This is another one from that could be really dangerous and explode heads if done wrong category. The move, when done correctly, doesn't actually drop people on their heads, as the sports entertainment performer moves at the last moment to drop their opponent on their backs instead. But not everyone is that talented, unfortunately, and accidents do happen. So WWE took the decision to ban the move entirely, because people sue you if your company is involved with their head injuries. Number 7, Belt. It's a championship, pal, a title, a waist ornament, a shiny trouser holder. But it is certainly not a belt. The word is that Vince McMahon decided that calling them championship belts sounded like a piece of clothing, and therefore the word belt could not be used to describe a championship title. The same goes for the word strap. By all accounts, WWE does not want their championships to be given generic names, so belt and strap are big no-nos. In fact, when Goldberg won the Universal Championship, he accidentally used the word belt in an interview and felt the need to correct himself, telling Edge and Christian on their podcast, "I took the belt. Pardon me, I took the title, the Universal title. Yeah, I forgot a lot of things in 13 years. There's a list of words, man. I didn't make it up." Number 6, Samoa Joe's Muscle Buster. This one is pretty recent, as Samoa Joe was still using the Muscle Buster in his NXT days, but since coming to the main roster, it hasn't seen the light of day. In his Raw debut, Joe beat Roman Reigns with a Uranagi Slam, and has moved to putting people away with a Coquina Clutch. Well, when he can get a win on TV anyway, prompting people to speculate that the move has been banned by Vince McMahon on the main roster. The timeline on this one is quite spotty, but many point to Joe ending the career of Tyson Kidd with the move on an NXT house show in 2015, prompting Hall of Famer and serial moaner Bret Hart to say the move was extremely dangerous, and even compared the move to Owen Hart breaking Austin's neck in 1996. Or maybe Vince just didn't want people to remember the awesome show Ultimate Muscle, which is where the name is taken from. He's more of a Dragon Ball man, you see. Number 5, fans. WWE doesn't have fans, and I'm not talking about their dwindling attendance or rating numbers. No, WWE doesn't have merely fans, they have managed to amass an entire universe of people who sometimes go to their shows. Not in massive numbers, granted, but they do go, and they even named a belt strap after them, which was a lovely tribute, even if it is red, cartoony, and horrible, just like Ollie Davis's piles. Commentators are banned from calling WWE fans, as you'll have noticed when Super Wrestle Stars brawl into the seating arena around ringside. They're not brawling into the fans, they're brawling into the WWE universe. Or the NXT universe if it's a takeover show. Does 205 Live have the 205 universe? Either way, it's not as cool as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This all stems from Vince McMahon's desires to brand things in WWE. That's why wrestlers are superstars. Female wrestlers used to be called divas, and why for a while the ECW brand called their sports entertainers extremists, in a way to separate them from the Raw and SmackDown superstars and divas. I'm sure to Vince it all made sense at the time. You know, like when he won the ECW championship. Number 4, title shot. Gone are the days of British Bulldog storming around Manchester Evening News Arena asking Vince McMahon, "Where's my title shot?" As nowadays super sports entertainment wrestle-roos don't win #1 contenderships or earn title shots, and instead are given championship opportunities. Because you see, this isn't a real sport. It's a corporate world full of corporate speak. They may as well call in-ring segments meetings, where they can go through their blue sky thinking, maybe even talk about their key performance indicators, or take things offline as the meeting is getting sidetracked by Dana Brooke's never-ending PowerPoint slides of charts, taking us through the company financials year on year. I mean, she is a really good statistician, but God blimey, her presentations go on and on. Where was I? Oh yeah, don't say title shot. Number 3, Seth Rollins curb stomp. It's not just the word, but the move itself was banned for a while. According to Seth Rollins, following his WWE Belt Strap Championship title shot win at WrestleMania 31, where he cashed in his Money in the Bank contract briefcase — oh yeah, by the way, the word briefcase is also banned in WWE — he was told to stop using his curb stomp finisher, which is when Seth transitioned into using the Triple H approved pedigree. The curb stomp made its return to screens this year, but with the curb part removed from commentator lexicon, presumably because Vince didn't want the move associated with, well, the gruesome act of curb stomping people IRL. In his indie days as Tyler Black, the move was called the Blackout, which WWE somehow found too gimmicky and have simply called it the Stomp, because like Ron Sill, it does exactly what it says on the tin. Maybe not a joke for our American audience. Number 2. Chris Benoit. Following the grisly and well-publicized double murder-suicide in 2007, WWE banned any mention of Chris Benoit or his accomplishments in WWE or elsewhere in their libraries. This means that Randy Orton's first World Championship win is essentially missing from the record books, as is the main event of WrestleMania 20. Although his matches are still available to watch on the WWE Network, you'll notice that the white dots which take you to the start and end of a match are missing, leaving a lot of large gaps in many 2000-era pay-per-views. In fact, the description for Fully Loaded 2000, where Chris Benoit challenged The Rock for the WWF Championship, simply reads, "The Great One The Rock defends the WWE title." See how it says title and not belt? This is perhaps the least surprising entrant on the list, but Benoit really has become the Voldemort of WWE. I'm going to assume that's a Harry Potter joke. Andy Datson wrote this script and he's such a nerd. And number 1, blading. If you want to know why blading is banned in WWE, then just take a look at the foreheads of Devon Dudley and New Jack. Disgusting. The skill of nicking a vein so that you bleed everywhere was widespread and used a lot in WWE until it was banned at the beginning of the PG era. Wrestlers do still bleed, but any blood you see this day is the real deal, and probably a hell of a lot more painful. It can be quite problematic, as some matches have been temporarily stopped by refs and ringside medics so they can seal up any wounds while the referees put on their latex gloves of safety. And while it would be easy to blame the PG era for the lack of blood in WWE, the rumored villain is actually Mattel, who make WWE's action figures, accessories, and other toys. The word is that when Mattel partnered with WWE, they were uninterested in being associated with a PG-13 product, and Mattel have a track record of putting the kibosh on partnerships that don't fall in line with their family values. For example, they cancelled a live-action Barbie movie in the 1980s for fear that the actor they cast to play the lead role could possibly one day be involved in something untoward. As former Mattel president Tom Kalinske once told me in an interview, if she gets drunk in public or gets involved in drugs, that hurts the Barbie brand. Either way, blading is bad and WWE don't like it. They'd much rather you use Brock Lesnar's elbow. But what are some of the storylines dropped by WWE following the 2018 Survivor Series? Click the video on screen right now to check those out. I've been Luke Owen, and that was a list.